Hello everyone, we'll be starting in just a few minutes. If you could please do me a favor and under the comments let me know where you're listening from and how well the audio and if you can see the video. Good. Once again, we'll be beginning in about 30 seconds. That's it. Yep, and if you don't mind just leaving a comment. Or I think the comments are turned off. And for that, I apologize. Well, hello and welcome to Luminar's Quick Tips. I'm Vanelli. I'm the Director of Education for Skylum. Now, in these quick tips, what I want to do is take you through just one of the tools that we have and just show you how we could use it, on an actual, on an image. Excuse me, and then ask me a bunch of questions, and we'll from there work together as a team to collaborate on learning the techniques. So our first quick tip is going to be on working with texture, the texture overlay tool. So here's the original image that we're dealing with the aviator, and then we're going to add a texture overlay to it to create this look. Now you can see this one here, but over in the corner I have another one printed, and that worked out great on canvas. So adding this little extra texture to the image, it just adds more of an artistic flair to it. And again, all of this is subjective to you, the artist. You may like it, others don't. I've had some images that I've created that I absolutely couldn't stand, but the client loved them, and the client was the one in charge. I just asked him not to put my name on it. No. So there are sometimes, like I said, on some of the edits, you have to decide how it is for you. All right? So let's dive right in. So here we are. I'm going to start by removing everything. So we're going to start fresh again. Now, yes, I did create a Luminar look for everyone, and I'll add that in the description. So I believe it was this one right here. It's the aviator. Now, one thing you should notice, once I created the look, notice the texture is still on her face. Now, the reason for that is looks do not save any layer mask, which makes sense, because if you want to apply this to a batch of images, not all positions of that layer mask is going to be there, so it doesn't save that. And it also doesn't save any of the canvas tools, crop, erase, and then clone and stamp. So those are the only things that the looks will not save. All right? So let me show you how I created this. I'm going to reset the adjustment. Now, I'm going to purposely take you through a way how I first did it, which was totally inefficient. And I'm going to show you the efficient way of doing it. So originally, I got excited, I saw the texture overlay, clicked on it, came over, grabbed a texture, applied it, saw it's okay looking, gave it a 100% opacity, then changed the layer blend mode. Now I'm noticing overlay and soft light usually works the best. And then under the advanced menu, I'm going to crank up the contrast. Great. Now I love it all except on her face. So we'll click Edit Mask, Brush, and I want to erase just on her face, and in her skin. So I'm staying at a 50% opacity, which means I have to go over it a couple times to erase it. Now if you want to know where the layer mask is, click on the mask visibility icon. I'll come around. And here, if I go out of the area, I'll just click on the paintbrush or the paint button and paint back in the areas that I went over. And there it is. So before and after. So I'll click done. So now here's where I made the mistake. So I really like how this looks, and I thought, well, you know what? I typically start with one of these built-in Luminar looks, and then I modify it to my own. So I clicked on Mood Enhancer, and look what happened. Everything was erased. Now, the reason for that is we're on the base layer. So when you apply a look, especially to the base layer, anything on that layer is removed, this is added. So I saw that and I was like, oh man, what can I do? So I decided, okay, I'll come to the history tool, and I'm going to back it out. Now I'm back where I started from. I said, okay, well, what I could do is come up here to the layers, and I'm going to add a new adjustment layer. Now, if you notice, there are several options. Add new adjustment layer, add a new image layer, and then, of course, create a stamp layer. The difference between the three, if you're familiar with Photoshop, when you create a new layer in Photoshop from a base layer, it copies the bottom layer, and if you press Control-J, it duplicates that to the top layer. If you make a change to the bottom layer, the top layer never sees it. Luminar is different. When you click Add New Adjustment Layer, it adds a new adjustment layer on top, and then any changes you make, the bottom adjustment layer will shine through. So if you decide to go back, say, you know, I really don't like that vignette, you go back to the bottom layer, change the vignette, and it'll follow all the way through. That's great if you want it to work that way. That's where the stamp layer comes in. If you want it like Photoshop to where here's my layer, I want you to duplicate it, but I don't want the bottom layers from that point on to influence that top layer, then you'll create the new stamp layer, and that's what that'll do. And of course, add a new image layer. That's just going to add an image layer on top of what we're doing. All right. So I added a new adjustment layer. Now I can create that mood enhancer, and notice that it applied it to the entire image, even to her face. All right. Well, this was great. So I thought, when I came over to the looks, I went to save it as a new look, and when I did, it only saved the top adjustment layer as a look. It didn't save the bottom layer. So looks don't save the layers. Looks just save whatever that layer is on. All the tools used in that layer, that's what it saved. So here's the more efficient way of doing this. Let's go to the history. Well, I'm going to back this all the way out. Good. So now I got rid of all the layers, and we're starting from the beginning. All right. So the first thing I'd like to do is I'm going to add a new mood enhancer. Good. And then from here, do our traditional. I'm going to come in and do some traditional editing to it. So I like that. The highlights, I definitely want to bring those way down. Good. Look how that brought out her skin tones. All right, good. I'm at a good starting spot. Now I'm going to come back over to the creative tools, and now I'll add my new texture. Do the same thing we did before. Bring the opacity up. Change the layer blend mode to let's say soft light, or pick soft light. The contrast looks good. Now we're going to edit the mask. And I want to erase it on top of her face. Good. And I'm just using the left and right bracket keys to make the brush bigger or smaller. And again, X will convert it from paint to erase. There it is. Add just a little bit on her nose. That's fine. And you know what? Let's see where it's just a little bit more on the sides. There we go. All right. And apply. Great. So now that I did that, I'm going to make a few other quick edits, a little extra quick tip. So the tip is already done. So to add the new texture overlay, that was the tip, to incorporate that into your look. Incorporate it into your look. Now I can save this as a new Luminar look. And the mood enhancer, all of those tools, plus the new image layer, the texture overlay tool is added to it. So now it's already there for future reference or for future changes. What I want to do, since I got you here, is let's come over to, we already have light. So here we are with light. You know what? I want to bump up or enrich the blacks just a little bit. That looks good. Now I'm noticing the bottom half of the image here is a little too bright. So under the Pro Tools, we'll use the adjustable gradient. And on the bottom, I want to lower the exposure right about here. And then I can set the orientation and the distance. Right about there is good. And I can change up some of the highlights and shadows. If I want to bring it out more, yeah, that's right about there is good. Now, each time I do this, I like to turn the individual tool on and off so it shows me exactly the effect it's making. And then I can come up to the top and look at the overall effect. Great. Now, since this is a portrait, you might as well take advantage of the new portrait tools. So, skin enhancer, definitely. And my favorite, let's enhance the eyes. Remove some of the dark circles, which she doesn't have any. Okay, I went a little overboard with that skin. So let's bring it back a little bit. There we go. And let's darken the lips. We don't need the teeth. Lips redness. Let's improve the eyebrows. Nice. I love that tool. All right, I'm going to come back to the texture. Edit the mask again. This time I'm going to paint. Let's paint it at maybe a very, very small opacity. I just want to run it over her face just a little. There we go. Now the texture is blending right in, and we're done. So let's back this out. You know what? Before I go any further, let's come over to the color. I want to desaturate all of the colors, but then I want to bring back the vibrancy of just the muted colors. Ooh, that looks good. Yeah, that looks much better. All right. So, before and after. Now we're going to come down to save it as a look. And let's just call this, I'm going to underscore just so I know I can erase it afterwards. Aviator Texture, version 3. And save. Now that it's saved, I have that and I can apply it to future images. Now, one last thing I want to show you is, I got this from Richard Harrington, because they do this a lot in video. When you catch yourself editing a little too much and you're wondering, is it overkill? Did I over-edit the image? How does it look? This little trick is going to help you. Go to the very top layer, right here, and now for the adjustment amount, bring it to 0. That's going to take all the tools and adjust them equally. I'm going to bring it back. Typically between 50 and 70% is what you're looking for. For this image, I'm going to go a little bit further. Right about there. Ooh, I like that. See, so it doesn't look overdone. That right there tweaks it to where you just have that little extra. and that'll help you with the overall look. So, guys, let's see. I really wish, and I apologize, that I didn't turn on comments, and that's a shame. So what I'm going to do is at the end of this broadcast, I'll make sure I go back and turn on comments. And if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to ask questions into the comments, and I'll go back and I'll look at them. So we're going to be planning, especially with the crisis that's going on right now, we're going to be planning several of these throughout the week. If you have any suggestions on a tool that you're wondering how it works, or you wanted to have it to be not too much, well, a quick tip on it, and if you notice, the second half of this was getting a little bit more in-depth on putting it all together. So the first part of the quick tip is the actual quick tip, and then the second half of it will go a little bit in-depth. So if you want to give suggestions, please feel free to, or shoot me an email at Vanelli, Vanelli, at skylum.com. And as always, if you run into problems and you're stuck on something, don't forget to click Help, and then click on the user guide, and we'll use texture here, texture overlay, and it'll take you right to the tool, and it'll tell you exactly what each of the sliders are doing, and it helps you out when you're in a pinch. Along with that, here, let me close this out. And you can also click on the Skylum blog. There's a special photo contest, and if you want to check out any of the videos we have, you can check out the video section, and you can go from here. So our goal for the education is to have everything at your fingertips, so you don't have to go searching for something you want to learn. So, hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. And again, please look forward to this. We're going to try to keep this time frame around 5 p.m. Eastern time throughout the week. Thanks again.